Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So last class we discussed up to chemical properties finished. What about this sodium and hydrox potassium?
Sir, can you please send a recording of the last class?
Yeah, I will send that one. I was a little busy from last 2 days, that's why I didn't upload anything. I'll do that by tonight. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. What about this sodium and potassium?
Sir,
Even
done.
even with the cold
Yes, sir,
water, it
done.
will form the explosive mixture. Then calcium reacts.
Yes, sir, the reactivity series and the reaction with water we have done.
Then now tell me one by one. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and the aluminum iron reaction with the water. Which one will react with the cold water? Which one react with the hot water, normal water, and steam?
Sir, sodium, potassium can react with cold water.
Sir, calcium and magnesium with normal water. And iron and aluminium with
steam.
steam.
What about the aluminum and steam? Aluminum and iron?
Steam, sir.
Sir, steam.
Steam. Okay. What about the sodium and potassium?
Sir, cold water.
Cold water.
Yes, sir.
Even with the cold water, it will react and will form the sodium hydroxide hydrogen gas. So whenever the metal react with the water, it will release the hydrogen gas. Most of the cases. Okay. You can see here. Whenever the metals are reacting with the water, it is releasing always the hydrogen gas. Okay. Then
Okay, sir.
then tell me the elements in the reactivity series. What are the elements?
Sir, sodium. Sir, first of all, lithium, then sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, then lead.
Okay. Next.
Sir, lithium, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, carbon, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, gold, silver, and platinum.
Sorry, copper, silver, gold, and platinum. Copper is a silver is a more reactive than gold. Don't change the order. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I think I have given the shortcut trick also for that. Just go through it once.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you find any difficulties, I can find out because whether the competitive exam on the metals and non-metals is there now, mostly they will ask questions from the reactivity series only. So it's very important. Okay. And one more thing, the
Yes, sir. Okay.
whatever the series is given here, somewhat mistake is there. Just to go through the series which I have given in the notebook.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, one displacement reaction finished, double displacement finished. Reaction of metal with the acid, sorry, reaction of metals with the acid finished.
Yes, sir. This also you explained.
So whenever the metals react with the acids, what you will get? Salt plus hydrogen gas. Right? Whenever the acid react with the metal, it will always produce the salt plus hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
Then reaction with the metals and non-metals also finished. This comparison table finished. Then chemical
Sir?
properties of non-metals. Yeah.
Sir, what will be formed when gold reacts with aqua regia?
Very good. Gold reacts with the aqua regia. It will form different product. The gold, I'll tell you the aqua regia in the last. Okay, that's better.
Okay, sir.
What is aqua regia and what is this solution and all? Okay.
Okay, sir.
So electronic configuration of non-metals. Generally, non-metals are the electronegative in nature, right? Always they wants to gain the electrons to get the octet configuration. So always they will try to accept the electrons instead of losing the electrons. Always non-metals try to accept the electrons only. They will not lose the electrons. So only we can call it as a electronegative nature. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And non-metals will form the covalent bonding. What is the meaning of covalent bond? Covalent bond means mutual sharing of electrons between the two atoms is called as a covalent bond. What is a covalent bond?
Mutual
Mutual
sharing of
sharing
atoms
between
between two
two
atoms.
atoms.
Mutual sharing of electrons between the two atoms. That is a covalent bond. Okay. So generally, if you take the non-metals, they will form the covalent bonding only. So you want definition now? Mutual sharing of electrons between two atoms is called as a covalent bond. Mutual sharing of electron between the two atoms is called as a covalent bond. Okay. So non-metals generally form the covalent bond, but if you study about the metals, it will form the ionic bond. Metals will form which bond? Ionic bond.
Ionic bond.
Ionic bond means the force of attraction between the positive charge and the negative charge. Okay, like Na plus and Cl minus. I think Vedika, you have studied these points. Vedika,
Yes, sir.
did you studied this or not in the special class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just go through it once again. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so metals will form the ionic bond, non-metals will form the covalent bonds. Clear? And what is the
Yes,
nature
sir.
of
Clear.
what is the nature of non-metals?
Electronegative.
And what it will form?
Electronegative.
Covalent bonds.
Covalent bonds
Anions.
it will form anions. Anion means if element accepts the electron, it will form anions. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So how many electrons will be there in the outermost shell for the non-metals?
4, 5, 6, or 7.
4 to 8.
4 to 8. Simple. Clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. Then the next one is the formation of oxides. Now tell me, metal oxides are which nature?
Basic.
Basic in nature. Only basic in nature? Metal oxides are only basic in nature.
Sir, they are alkaline also. Some of them.
What about Vedika? Turn on your videos.
Sir, basic.
Metal oxide, if you take, they have two natures. One is a basic nature, another is the amphoteric nature. Forgot.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Amphoteric
sir.
oxides are alkaline.
What is the amphoteric nature?
Sir reacts with both acid and base.
Oxide which act with both acid and base
Acid and base.
are called as an amphoteric nature. Okay. Basic means it can be alkali also.
Acid.
Alkali means which dissolve the base which dissolve in the water is called as an alkali. So all bases are not alkalis, but all alkalis are bases. But when you come put part to the non-metal oxides,
They are acidic.
what is the nature?
Acidic.
Acidic.
Acidic or neutral, both will form. Non-metal oxides are acidic in nature or the
Acidic or neutral.
neutral nature. So if you take the oxides like chlorine or phosphorus or sulfur, they will form acidic oxides. This Cl2O7, P2O5, SO3 and all acidic oxides. Only these
Sir,
three
what
are
is VIZ? Sir, VIZ, what is that?
VAZ, where it is? Okay, wise. You are saying about this
Yes, sir.
chlorine, phosphorus and silicon will form. That's just a indication. That's all. It's not exactly chemical meaning and all. Via Cl2O7, P2O5, and SO3. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then what are the neutral oxides which is formed by the non-metals?
Carbon monoxide, water, and nitrogen monoxide.
Carbon monoxide, water, and the nitrogen monoxide. These are the three neutral oxides formed by the non-metals. Formed by non-metals. But what about the CO2? Is it neutral oxide or acidic oxide?
Sir, acidic oxide.
CO2. It is an acidic oxide. Okay, CO2 is an acidic oxide, but CO,
Neutral oxide.
Neutral oxide.
understanding? CO2 is acidic
Yes,
oxide,
sir.
but CO is a neutral oxide. Is important.
Sir, how to identify whether it is acidic or basic?
Can you see this one? What is that
No,
diagram?
sir, means like that. If it is asked that what is basic, what is neutral? I mean, what is neutral and what is acidic? So how can we tell that?
The litmus paper in the CO2 solution, right? It will form the convert the litmus paper from blue color to red color, right?
No, sir, but if it is asked about any unknown compound in the exam, so how can we know that what is acidic and what is neutral?
Okay, but only these three will form the neutral. You can remember in that way. And if you
Oh,
want to
okay,
test
sir.
in the laboratory, now you can use the litmus paper, or we'll dissolve that oxide in the water. If you dissolve that oxide in the water now in the laboratory, it will produce the acids. If you dissolve that oxide in the water, if it does not produce any acid, now that is means there is a neutral oxide in the case of non-metals.
Okay, sir.
Just to remember, these three are the neutral oxides, remaining all are acidic oxides in the case of non-metals. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
If they ask, suppose I have given this acid, and they will tell you this, they will give you some acid, and they will tell like this acid will convert the blue litmus paper to the red litmus paper. Then what is the meaning of that?
Acidic.
Acidic in nature. Understanding? Am I going very fast?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understanding.
Okay. Can I clear this part? Took the screenshot. Take the screenshot
Yes,
of
sir.
this.
Taken.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. And the next one is a reaction with water. Generally, non-metals will not react that much with the water, like how metals will react. Okay. If metal react with the water, it will produce hydrogen gas, right? But non-metals will not react that much with the water. Okay. That is only explanation part is there.
Yes, sir. Okay.
The reaction with the acids. So non-metal does not react with the acids. They are not capable of replacing hydrogen from the acids and form the salt. Why? There is no non-metals. Mostly non-metals are not there in the reactivity series, right? So they cannot
Reactivity
replace
series.
the
Yes, sir.
they cannot displace the hydrogen from the acids. So non-metals will not react with the acids at all. Most of the non-metals, not all the non-metals. You can say most of the non-metals. Then reaction with metals. Only some metals will react with the non-metals like chlorine, bromine, iodine. You know ionic compounds, right? NaCl.
Yes, sir.
In the case of NaCl, Na is the metal and Cl is the non-metal. So always the non-metal will react with the metals only. The two high reactive metals will react with the non-metals. High reactive metals will react with the non-metals. So these are all properties for the non-metals. Then uses of metals and non-metals. Some important metals they are given here. The first one, zinc. What is the use of zinc?
Sir,
Galvanization of iron.
galvanization.
Galvanization. 1 minute. Okay. So if you take the zinc, where will you use zinc? In the galvanizing of iron to prevent the rusting of iron, right? The next one in medical industries and the alloys. What is the meaning of alloy?
Sir, the mixture of two different metals in a fixed proportion.
Mixing of two metals or more metals, two or more metals, or metal and non-metal. Mixing of two or more metals or mixing of the metal and the non-metal in a homogeneous way. That is the meaning of alloy. Okay, next iron. Most of the common industrial purpose will use iron only, right? For the construction of bridges, houses, ships, in the preparation of steel and the preparation of domestic utensils. This is the use of iron. The next tin, where will you use tin?
Soldering.
What's the meaning of soldering?
So making a joint on metals.
No, generally two electrical wires will join together with some silver color knob, right? If you see any motherboard or any chips board, electronic boards, you can see some knobs,
Yes, sir, on that
silver color.
solders are made.
Yeah, there is a soldering. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
That is a soldering. So in that, which metal will use? We'll use tin.
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 Soldering will use tin, or preparation of the food packing things will be there, right?
Sir, but that is aluminium,
Foils.
no?
Aluminum also will use. In some cases, we'll use tin foils also. Most of the cases, we'll use
Okay, sir.
aluminum because it is a cheaper one. But to foil some other materials, we'll use the tin also here. Like Coke tins are there, right?
Yes, sir. Tin.
So in that also we'll use the tin. Then metal coating to prevent the chemical action and corrosion. Corrosion also we'll use tin only. We'll coat the surface of the iron with the tin. So it will prevent the corrosion process. And the lightning
Yes, sir.
panel,
Tinning.
lightning panels. Then lead, which is highly poisonous to the human nature, human beings. We'll use in the car batteries, lead car batteries, pigments, radiation protection, and in some solders. It's often used to store corrosive liquids. Corrosive liquids means what?
Sir, the liquids which oxidize faster.
No, which will damage our skin. If you touch that liquid, it will damage skin. Like acids.
Okay, sir.
Acids are corrosive liquids.
Sir, then they are stored in lid.
Generally, will not store in the lead because lead reacts with the acids, right? Other corrosive liquids will store,
Yes, sir.
which will have the damaging effect. No, we'll store it in that, not the acids exactly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
The next titanium. Where will use in titanium?
Aircraft industries.
In the aircraft industry, will use the titanium. Zirconium, mainly used in refractory and the opacifier. Next, mercury in the thermometers, you know commonly. Silver,
Yes, sir.
gold, and platinum. Jewelry we will use, ornaments. And radioactive
Yes,
elements
sir.
like uranium and plutonium in the nuclear reactors we will use to provide the energy for us. Sorry. Okay. So these are the some use of metals and non-metals. Just go through it. Okay.
Sir, what is opacifier?
Opacifier, I will tell you that one. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next class, I will tell you that. Now, what is the meaning of opacifier? Then non-metals, sulfur. What is the meaning of vulcanization of rubber?
Sir, making the rubber more strong, increasing its strength.
Very good. We cannot use directly rubber in the preparation of tire, right? Car tires or vehicle
Yes,
tires,
sir.
because rubber is very soft. So to increase the strength of the rubber or to increase the properties of the rubber to make car tires is called as in vulcanization of rubber. In that we'll add 5% sulfur. How much sulfur? 5% of sulfur will add.
5%.
Okay. So to increase the thermal conductivity or to increase the hardness, to increase is a strength of the rubber, we'll add the sulfur. And also sulfur will use in the other compounds like preparation of sulfuric acid, sulfur drugs, in the matches, in the gunpowder and all. Next, boron is used in the form of borax.
Sir, borax we are also using in forming the alloys, no?
Borax will not use it in the formation of alloys, but boron will use. Boron will use in the formation
Sir,
of
but
alloys.
I've seen some videos in that they put that borax powder in making that alloys.
Okay, but borax is some other compound of the boron. It's not exactly completely metal, right? It's a chemical compound.
Yes, sir.
Alloy means what? Mixing of two metals. But borax is not the metal, right? It is a compound.
No, sir. They're using as a complement, like we use
Yeah,
the.
complementary they can use
Yes, sir.
as a some adding agent as a stabilizer, something we'll use, but we
Yes,
cannot
a
use completely.
supplement to that reaction.
Hmm. Then phosphorus we'll use in the crackers. One minute, please. Okay, so next one is the chlorine. So what is the bleaching powder formula? What is the bleaching powder formula?
So
CaOCl.
something related to.
The name is
Sir, can you repeat?
CaOCl2. Formula for bleaching powder. CaOCl2. Calcium oxychloride. What is the name?
Calcium oxychloride.
Calcium oxychloride is a formula for the bleaching powder. Okay. So chlorine we will use in the bleaching powder, or in the swimming pool also we'll use chlorine as a disinfectant.
Yes, sir.
In the swimming pools they will pour the chlorine liquid to avoid the skin diseases and all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is the chlorine. Next, carbon, the most useful element in the periodic table, because if you take any organic compound, it will contain the carbon compulsory.
Yes, sir.
And where you use the carbon? The graphite. In the form of graphite, you use in the preparation of pencils, or it is also lubricant in the industries. And main important thing in the metallurgy is it acts as a reducing agent. It will act as a reducing agent. And fuel, you know, coal. Coal is a form of carbon only. Control rods in the nuclear reactor, you know that one?
What, sir?
Control rods in the nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactor will be there, right? Nuclear reactors, which will use it to produce the energy by using uranium.
Yes, sir.
So in that control rods will be there. That also made up of graphite. So graphite is a allotrope of carbon only. Okay, next one is
Yes, sir.
oxygen.
Yes, sir.
Oxygen, you know what is the importance of oxygen?
Yes, sir. Required for respiration in both plants and animals.
Building block of the lives. Next, hydrogen. Sorry, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen are the building blocks for the life. Next, iodine. What about the iodine? Deficiency of the iodine will cause which disease?
Thyroid.
Typhoid.
Not typhoid. Thyroid will get.
Sir, thyroid.
Okay. Typhoid will get due to the
Sir,
bacteria or
and the
something.
tincture of iodine is also used to treat wounds.
Yeah, tincture of iodine used to treat the wounds, and deficiency of the iodine will cause the goiter disease or the thyroid, we'll say. Okay, this is all about the different uses of metals and non-metals. So corrosion already we discussed in the last class itself. Any doubts in the corrosion? Any
No,
doubts?
sir, no doubts.
Okay, we'll come to the alloy. 1 minute. So if you finish the alloy now, almost this chapter is gonna finish. Room temperature means
Yes, sir.
25 degrees Celsius. But this cesium and francium is a liquid at 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. Okay,
Okay, sir.
at the exactly room temperature, we cannot take as a liquids because 5 degrees temperature difference is there, right? We can say cesium and francium is having low melting point. Melting point means what? Which will convert easily from solid to liquid format.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but if you take the metals, you can say um, mercury is the liquid at the room temperature, or you can say gallium also sometimes liquid at the room temperature. Because gallium also having
Yes,
the
sir.
very low melting point. Cesium and francium also having very low melting points. In that way, you can say that one cesium and francium.
Okay, sir.
Sir, rubidium?
Rubidium is not. Rubidium is a solid, right?
Yes, okay.
Then methods to prevent the corrosion: painting, coating with the plastic, oil or grease, coating with more active metals, zinc, tinning. What is the meaning of tinning?
So coating with tin.
Coating with the tin metal, because tin is a less reactive metal, right? Compared to the iron. So compared to the iron, this tin is less reactive, so it will not undergo that much of corrosion process. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The next, alloys. What is the meaning of alloy? What is the meaning of alloy?
Sir, the homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or metal and a non-metal.
Sorry, I was telling with the mic mute. Alloy means what? Homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or between the metal and the non-metal. But can we make the two metals in the solid state and make the alloy? If you mix two solid metals, it will form alloy
No,
oil.
sir.
Then how to
No,
form the
sir.
alloys?
Sir, in their molten state.
In the molten
Yes,
state.
in the molten state.
First, we have to convert the metal from solid state to the liquid state. Then we'll mix the two hot liquids, right? That is only molten. Molten means what? Hot liquid.
Yes, sir.
So we'll mix the
Yes.
two hot liquids and allow them to cool. So only it will form the homogeneous mixture. So alloy is an homogeneous mixture. So after cooling, again it will become the hot solid only. Understand the definition? It is a homogeneous mixture of two or more
Yes, sir.
metals, or metal and the non-metal, mixed in the definite proportion in their molten state. Okay, now this tabular column is there, right? It is very important. There is a chance of getting at least one question on the alloys. So apart from this also, you should find out at least 10 alloys, common alloys. That is your homework today.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have them in my book.
Okay, just remember the what are the elements? Brass, bronze. What are the elements in the brass? What are the
Sir,
elements in
even
the
the
bronze?
uses.
Uses is not that much important, but composition is important. Suppose if I ask
Okay, sir.
brass, what are the elements are there in the brass? It is copper and the zinc. But in the case of bronze, copper and the tin, like this. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So what is the properties of alloys? The first one, which will increase the hardness, tensile strength, and conductance of the material. So compared to the normal or compared to the metals which you mixed, alloy will have the more hardness, more tensile strength, and more conductivity of the electricity.
Sir, like the gold is mixed with copper to increase its hardness. No?
Yeah, understand.
Yes, sir.
So compared to the normal metals, alloys will have the more hardness, tensile strength, as well as the conductivity. The next point, what is the next point? What is the next
To
point?
alter, sir, to
Compare,
alter or change the melting point of the material.
so compared to the normal metals, these will have the high melting point as well as high boiling point also. So suppose if they take cesium, it will have no melting point, right? If you mix the cesium with any other metal, the melting point of the alloy will increase. That is the meaning.
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, is molten sodium possible?
molten sodium is possible.
Sir, will it be even more reactive than its solid form?
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
compared to the solid liquid, the gaseous state is more reactive. Or gaseous compared to gaseous, liquid is somewhat less reactive. Compared to liquid, solid is somewhat less reactive, like that. Because in the gaseous state and liquids, the particles are free, right?
Yes, sir, the kinetic energy is more.
Hmm. So next one, physical properties like appearance, color, casting, malleability, all this will be higher, or you can say modified. Either it can be higher or it can be lower. Okay. Then
Yes, sir.
what is the meaning of amalgam?
The alloy of
Sir,
mercury and another metal.
Amalgam means compulsory there should be the mercury in that. So alloy of mercury with another metal is called as an amalgam. Okay. So just go through this table.
sir, there are different composition in my book and in your book. So which one to remember?
What is the different composition?
Sir, in my book for brass, copper is 80% and zinc is 20%.
No. The composition of this is correct only. 35 and 65. I'll check once again in other books and I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, if mercury is poisonous for our body, why is it used in dentistry?
Mercury is poisonous in the body. Okay.
So, sir, why are amalgam?
But
Why is amalgam used?
amalgam means what? It's a alloy, right?
Yes, sir.
It's not only simple mercury, right? The complete properties will change. Suppose if you take iron, iron has a rusting property, but if you take steel, they don't have the rusting property, right? Because steel is a mixture of iron with some other metal, like chromium or the nickel. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just to go through the applications of these alloys one by one.
Okay, sir.
If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Finished? Finished?
Yes, sir, done.